Hi Taurus, and welcome to your October 2018 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to provide you a wonderful reading for your month ahead, which I do feel like is so powerful and so strong. You're really getting strong here and really making endings, creating new beginnings, and revitalizing yourself. Gaining new vitality is so important. Look at all of this major arcana that you have in your reading. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana cards, which says to me that this will probably be one of the more memorable months of your year of 2018, and you will be growing and fledging out new aspects of yourself and truly being invigorated and empowered by the universe as you make your decisions here and now. And as I'm getting into the reading, Taurus, I hope that the background noise isn't too bad. It is raining quite hard here right now, but I find it very peaceful, and I hope that if it comes through, it will be peaceful for you as well, although it may not. It just depends on how the microphone is functioning today. But no, I feel so much peace, actually, when I'm working with your energy, when I'm stepping into what I see, which isn't necessarily reflected in the tarot. There are some heavy archetypes and definitely some, as I was saying, strong archetypes, but even when I look at it and as I step into the energy, it feels so peaceful. So I do think that it's really imperative for Taurus coming into the month of October to remember how easy peace can come to your energy. Taurus, you are ruled by Venus, and the energy of Venus is truly something that can experience peace and really indulge in any aspect of life that it needs to. So, what have you been doing lately that has prevented peace from coming in? What actions have you been taking that have led you to be constantly on edge? I really feel that October comes in to provide you some relief from that and to generate new experiences that reintroduce peace into your life in a way that it might have evaded you for quite some time. As the ultimate goal this month, and by the end of this month, we see you to be transforming. Your goal is seen to be transforming. And are you actually transforming? Because that's what people are going to see of you, which is kind of an interesting distinction that I'm trying to make here. Being seen as the person who changes, being seen as the person who transforms, or doesn't, or refuses to transform, or doesn't believe in change. How does that add up to what's actually happening on your internal world, to what's actually happening within? It's going to be important in this month of October to make congruent what you're seen as and what you're projecting versus what is actually interior for you. And I see you kind of reaching for control this month. Maybe there have been circumstances which have taken you out of control of something, and it's not so much like a control freak aspect or something that makes you want control over other people, but there is definitely, undoubtedly, something about what you're in charge of, the choices that you make, the choices that you have the freedom to make, comes up here. Something very much wrapped around that, and perhaps even in more of a subtle way than you might expect. You're going to see that people around you are very involved in situations that relate to control, financial control, emotional control. Those things are being called into transformation now, Taurus, and the choices that you've made relating to those types of themes transform and become something new. So what do you want them to become? You have a wonderful opportunity, it feels, as we're stepping into Libra time, to really take control in your strategy, in the changes that you want to see, and really accepting that change is possible here and now. You know, fixed earth energy, one of the karmic issues that Taurus deals with is feeling like change is not possible, or feeling like things don't change, feeling like people don't change, and if they do, it's something fake, it's something false or illusionary. So I'm seeing that change is possible here and now as we go into like cardinal Libra time. We've just come out of mutable Virgo time. So this is a time of year where things do change and where we're encouraged to make changes. So what needs a change here and now, Taurus? There could be something spiritual or even religious with the Hierophant in your reading that illustrates some type of change in you. You might be converting to some type of faith. You might be taking an interest in more esoteric themes of life. But one way or another, I really sense you to be thriving in your environment, in whatever environment that is. Even if you felt like where you are at right now isn't right for you, there's a strong ability to thrive through taking control of what you can change and the changes that you need to make, and not the changes that other people need to make, and through working up towards the end of the month with a transformation in mind that is good for the greater good of you and the people around you, if that makes sense. So you have a lot on your plate. energetically this month, Taurus, for sure. And I feel that we all have an expectation of you, or a lot of people have an expectation of you about what you need to do for them, or what you even need to do for you. You might see that people expect you to do a certain thing for yourself, and you might have to change that. You might have to be clear. I do think that clarity is important while not demanding other people or not making commands of other people that are too hard. You do have the Emperor as your central theme, so you're gaining more control. You're gaining more sovereignty over your life, and watch out for using that on other people, though, because it will be successful, but you'll be seen as unreachable or unrelatable if you exert control over other people or command other people, or, as I'm hearing it right now, expect other people to do your bidding in some way. So do your own bidding this month, Taurus. Help other people. Something philanthropic might be very rewarding for you in this month, because when you gain so much power, when you gain so much authority over your own life, and you start to gain respect, kind of like a sovereign entity, you'll start to see that there's kind of an expectation from the people around you to be helpful and to give back from what you have, which may and may not be right for you now, but I just want to alert you to that expectation that I feel will be pretty much inevitable for most Taurus. I feel that people are expecting a lot from you, and that doesn't mean that you have to provide that. It doesn't mean that you have to do that, but it's definitely food for thought to really compare what you're giving and what people are expecting, and what post these people occupy in your life. Does that need to change if what they're expecting from you is unfair? At the same time, can you provide it? Do you want to provide it? It's good to think about the give and take of certain relationships and expectations right now, because that may change, and it needs to change. I'm feeling that for a lot of you it does need to change. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to walk away from people or you need to block people out of your life if it's not adding up, but there might need to be a dialogue there. And if you can't come to an agreement with certain people, maybe it is time to walk away. You do have 8 of Cups, you have 7, 8, and 9 of Cups. So a strong emotional evolution happening within you behind the scenes of this. That's not very obvious. My eyes didn't see that until just now. So there is a much bigger emotional progression happening within you, Taurus, than you might realize right now. And you'll also see that maybe what you would think to be just business decisions or just part of the trade that you're in really does constitute much more of an emotional impact on you than you can realize. So remember, before I get into the week to week, that decisions which don't feel emotional may become so if you're not really thinking clearly, and make sure that you're thinking empathetically. Can you sleep at night with the choices that you make? Don't be too spontaneous with really heavy decisions or really heavy choices relating to other people, especially, because it's important to remember that you need to be emotionally there for yourself and not doing unto others how you would not do to yourself, because you will feel it really strongly. There's also the possibility to truly be happy with a philanthropic or charitable action. That could be really wonderful, because I feel like you emotionally heal wounds by helping others who maybe were in a place of need that you were once at or that you resonate with, and ultimately gaining a type of spiritual knowledge that helps transform you for really the better, it feels like, which is wonderful. But anyway, Taurus, I'm going to go ahead and get into the week to week, and we'll see what more specifically is coming up. In the first week of October, you have the Hierophant rooted down by 9 of Cups. I think this is the best week out of the month for you. It's not as stressful as the rest of the weeks can potentially be for some Taurus. This is truly a spiritual alignment and a calibration coming in. You're leveling up. Congratulations in the first week of October. If you're watching this, then you're leveling up. You are seeing your environment and your life in a much more fluid and motioned way than it has been in a very long time. Beautiful, beautiful. Congratulations for that, Taurus. Really. And even if you're feeling stress in this week or something is not coming about right, see what it brings, because almost I feel like nothing can really go terribly wrong in that week, and anything that feels uncomfortable results in comfort for the future. There is going to be a sense of a new path coming in as well, most definitely. 9 of Cups to me is a minor version of the Hierophant as well. They're very connected with each other. There's a sense of coming to a new path. It's not really a crossroads to me, but it's like a linear, direct path. And there's someone there or something there that tests you. Okay, so there could be a test in this week as well, and it's testing you to see if you're ready for the new path, for the next journey. You're sort of asked, what's the password, with Nine of Cups and the Hierophant as well. It could sort of feel like a riddle. And I feel that the answer to that riddle relies directly on an emotional evolution, on seeing empathetically, on coming to terms with your decisions as a person. I needed to move away from that person. Although when I did that, that really hurt them. And I can see how it did. It doesn't mean that I have to deny myself to make that right. It doesn't mean that I have to lose something on account of not having been perfect. But it does mean that I can reroute my consciousness. I can reroute my decisions in the future to do something that's more empathetically right at my own level. Because Taurus has to make tough decisions. It's a fixed earth sign. Despite being ruled by Venus, it's on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, So difficult decisions come in life, and decisions that feel like rocks and hard places do come in life. And the importance here of that, the moral in that I feel for Taurus relates with not necessarily being perfect. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about catering to other people and doing what other people need of you. But it is about realizing the impact that you have over other people. Even if you have to do something something that could be painful to other people. I mean, that's life. Sometimes you hurt people in life. It's important to know that it was pain and not to try to justify it because it's not painful to you. Does that make sense? It might not make sense. But realize that the decisions that you make may impact others in a way that is different from you. And see that and start to make decisions in a way that honors what it could be for others if you're dealing with others. I hope that makes sense. It might feel a little bit obvious. It might feel a little bit obvious to those of you who have already implemented this, as I'm sure that you have. But the test of October relies solely on an empathetic awareness within Taurus. It's not about righting wrongs. It's about the realization. And as that realization happens in the first week, you step onto a new path, which leads you into the second week of October with the World rooted down by Ace of Pentacles reversed, where you are actually having a material evolution or a material ending in your life. I sense a lot of you changing job fields. We're getting more worldly with this energy in the second week. You've stepped onto a new path. For a lot of you, this is a new job, a new career. You're thinking, can I get the promotion or should I change sectors? I think that a change in sector is very positive and very beneficial for the majority of you, even if you have to take a bit of a pay cut. Ace of Pentacles reversed can show a bit of a pay cut or something that feels like a bit of a loss of asset. But being suspended by the world, that says to me that through taking this small decrease, you build something much bigger than you would have ever had before. So remember that money isn't everything. Taurus is a very materially oriented sign. So if you feel like you're losing security or material, you might associate that with something that can never succeed. Think about where your successes lie and brainstorm here. Not a bad time to actually make a move or to even give an ultimatum to an employer. That's not going to be right for all of you, but certainly an appropriate time to make a dialogue about a potential promotion, at least, really supported during that time. You're going to be seen as, like large and in charge with the emperor there. So you're going to be hard to deny. A very good salesperson, selling many ices to many Eskimos, I feel, during this time. And important to make sure that you are giving people value and that you're not taking advantage, because it would be very easy to take advantage of people during this time. But by being true and fair, you start to see that this becomes something that is maintainable for a long time and doesn't just fade away in a month or so. So moving into the third week, Taurus, you have 8 of Cups reversed, rooted down by 7 of Cups reversed. And you are emotional during this week. Watch out for people who you don't get along well with. If you know that someone's gonna be emotional around you, I would avoid it. I would avoid alcohol. I would avoid anything that activates your emotions during that time, because you will be very prone to crying or very prone to shuddering during that time. I do feel that it's an easy time to be triggered by people as well. So people say something that's not even meant to be upsetting, yet it really affects you. And it's tied solely down to something that relates to having walked away from someone in the past, and you're not thinking that was the right decision now. You're thinking that you were seeing a false horizon or a false ideology when you chose to make a decision to leave something behind. Not a good time to leave someone behind or to leave something completely behind. And I know that that kind of conflicts with what we were just talking about in the second week, where it's a good time to make a change in job sector. But I'm feeling if you're still in the third week and you haven't made that change, it's important to maybe not do it at this point in time. There's a strong change in energy right in the transition between the second and third week. And to me, it does have to do more with people. It has to do more with love, relationships, and connections in the third week. And we do have Venus being retrograde here for you as well, when Venus is your ruling planet, so you will feel a Venus retrograde strongly. I'll link that video in the description box below. I did make a video about Venus retrograde at the end of September on my channel, so be sure to check that out. It will be helpful. But yes, if you need to be hasty, it's the first and second week where haste is okay, but not by the third or fourth week. And that's sort of mixing that together to get into this sort of like subtleties of these messages. Hasty decisions put you into a comfortable position in the long run right now, but due to your current psychological and emotional mechanisms, you may second guess them directly after they're done, but that doesn't mean that they're bad for you, okay? It's those little like difficult connections that are important for Taurus to realize. Like you might regret, suddenly changing career sector. You might feel like you came off too strongly to your boss or too strongly to your spouse. And then you feel like, whoa, I've walked away too quickly. I've transitioned too quickly. When in reality, it is the best thing for you, but it might not feel so comfortable in the short term. Okay? And that's heavy. On the flip side of that, there is an inevitable departure for Taurus, undoubtedly, for October. So try to not get too worked up and need what you had after you've left it. That's kind of a Scorpionic tendency. Jupiter's in Scorpio right now. We have Venus retrograde in Scorpio, and we're moving into Scorpio time during that third week of October. That opposes you. You see a lot of emotional stuff on the horizon. You see like, wow, I could really, really get down into the depths with that. I could really let myself emotionally evolve or devolve with this energy. I could really even ruin that person's life. There's a vengeful streak in Taurus right now as well, which you have to be very careful with, okay? You're on that axis. Taurus can be more vengeful than people give them credit for. After a certain point, it's not really how you tend to operate on the day-to-day basis. But at a certain point, Taurus, you really don't want to mess with Taurus. Like you really don't. It's less apparent how much power and potency they have because they are ruled by Venus. Very sweet and very indulgent and very attractive. With Scorpio, it might be pretty obvious. Wow, that's a toxic person. That person could really cause me problems, so I'm not going to mess with them. But with Taurus, it's not so obvious, and people might mess with you, and then all of a sudden you're vengeful. You can really make an impact on people's lives, and that's a message for all of October and the beginning of November, because Jupiter will be changing signs into Sagittarius November 8th, I believe it is. So you've got this month of October and then 8 days in November where you are potently able. Like so much emotional energy, so much like endocrine energy as well. I feel like the hormones are really like going hard. So like watch out for like hyperthyroidism, things which deal with having too much of a certain hormone, like too much cortisol, too much stress hormones, because you can make like split decisions that deal with your past or with other people in a way that like claws. It like claws at people. Like I sense Taurus would like to be a clawing sign if they're not careful. So I would focus that energy onto your career. I would focus that energy onto the new business. How can I pull out the darkness and apply the resolve that generates that to my money situation, to making amends with those I need to make amends with, to making amends with myself? Because when Taurus finds themselves wanting to be vengeful, it's because they feel that they failed themselves. And sometimes they associate that with the person or the people that were around when that happened. And it's going to be important to differentiate now. This is such a heavy month. It's so beautiful. It has so many rewards for you all. But this last full month of Jupiter in Scorpio demands a lot of lessons, demands a lot of differentiation, categorization of emotional jetsam. I want to say like emotional jetsam has to be categorized and absorbed and redistributed through the body. Healing needs to take place. Not a good month to starve yourself or to fast or to take away. Giving yourself a nice diet, a nice routine, a nice structure, so that these like hormonal things which are happening, these chemical things which are happening in your body, cannot be aggravated by drinking 10 cups of coffee in one day and not eating or something. Like watch out for things that stimulate the chemicals in the body, because there's a temper here and there's a hasteful potential. Like there's a hasty decisions which are good in the beginning, relating to career, relating to your own tests, relating to things which are more inanimate in your life, but not good relating to people of the past or relating to experiences of the past. I can just say that flat out. So as we're moving into the fourth week, you have the star reversed, rooted down by death. So there's a ending cycle coming in there. Such transformative energy, and that's what I've been sort of building up to as I've been going through the reading. The star and death to me are two of the most transformative energies in the tarot, as well as the world. So you have the world too. All three of the like major transformers are in your reading. So there could be a rock bottom for some of you, as well as like a really elevated apex. Not much in between. Got to revitalize your body, reinvigorate the senses, clean your surroundings. Being clean, the star to me is like, and especially when the star is in reverse, it says to me that either the surroundings aren't clean or that something in the body is not feeling clean. Like there could be toxins. A good time to do a light detox. Okay. Again, we can't be too potent during this time. Like this isn't about, drinking 400 green smoothies in the period of 2 weeks and putting nothing else into the body, but slight actions towards like light detox is going to be so important, because something is murked up. Something is dingy, like around or in the body. Like, is there mold in the house? Is there clogs in like the drains or in the pipes or something? Something is like clogged. And all of these things are always symbols for other aspects of our interior world. If there's mold growing in your house, it's very likely that emotions which were really wet, because emotions are ruled by the water element, have not been faced and have not been dried. Like you're still feeling the potency of an emotion, but you haven't faced it dead on. So mold starts to sort of grow in the psyche, and it grows in your house. That's kind of quite a spiritual concept there. But as you clean out your house, it might be good to think about cleaning out what is on the inside as well. And forgiving. What a good month for forgiveness, Taurus. What a good month for taking your throne. The Emperor is your central theme. And rather than pointing your scepter towards the destruction of people who have opposed you, which you could do, or towards the falling of other people and the rising of you, how nice to look at people in the face, or to, even if just in your mind, to really make contact with people and not need to give them painful situations. Expressing forgiveness and truly letting your potency be driven in that format. That elevates you so much. That gives you so much. That gives you so much power and respect. Because to have the respect of people that even have done you wrong in the past speaks a lot. Okay? Because I do feel that people have realized. I feel that people have realized where they went wrong, and maybe Taurus really reminding them yet again of that. It's okay. It shows it to them again, but it doesn't do much for Taurus, I feel. So for some of you it could. But it's not very satisfying in the long term. Again, watch out for instant gratification this month. We're working in the long term. We're taking this last month of Jupiter and we're fortifying the aspects that has expanded. So the body systems, the chemicals within the body, the emotional expansive territory that has gone unseen. Okay, the transformations which have to become bigger than the rest of us right now. The crown that we need to take, or the throne that we need to claim within our own lives, relating only to ourselves. Those are the territories that need our energy this month, Taurus, and you are right in the midst of that, as Jupiter is exactly opposite you, especially for those of you, Taurus, who are born, I guess it would be, what days would that be? Probably like May 10th to May 15th. for your sun at least. That's going to be where Jupiter is hitting you really strong. That's a guesstimation in my head. But I believe that around that time, like later in the Taurus cycle is going to be hit. Those people are going to be hit very hard by this right now. So anyway, Taurus, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this reading here. I would so appreciate if you would comment below how this energy is for you, what actions you're taking in October as the last full month of Jupiter in Scorpio, what lessons you've learned. Those comments would be so appreciated. It will help your fellow Taurus. Also, if you get the opportunity to like this video, it's very helpful for my channel, as well as the subscriptions. Very helpful. I'm so appreciative. You can click the center of your screen right now to check out my Patreon page to get these readings early and ad-free. And there is also information there on how to book a private reading with me if that would be interesting to you. Anyway, Taurus, so much love and light and abundance during this time. You are potent, you are strong, and you can find peace in this month amongst it all. Anyway, much love. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.